My name is Derek Leggott. I don't know if you know the history of Malaya and Malaysia. Well, we occupied Malaya, as it was, for a number of years, culminating with the Malayan crisis of the 1950s, which finished 40s and 50s. I only went over there for a very short period. I didn't qualify for the Malayan medal. But then I went to I flew over first to Singapore, and then what happened after we granted Malaya independence, Malaya then formed the Federation of Malaysia, which composed at the time initially of Malaya, Singapore, Brunei, and the two British North Borneo, which is now called Sabah, and Sarawak. You might have heard of these places. It's a holiday resort now, all of it. But when we went there, what happened is that President Sukarno of Indonesia, when all said and done, the main part of the island of Borneo, which is called Kalimantan, belongs to Indonesia. And when we gave Malaya independence, Sukarno of Indonesia said, "Oh no, we want our territory back in North Malaya, northern Borneo, that is Sarawak and Sabah." So we said, "No, you're not going to have it. It now belongs to Malaysia." And Malaysia had asked for our assistance, and it was mainly Australian, New Zealand, and British, and Gurkhas who did the defence of it. A lot of people have never heard we mention Borneo and Malaya. People go, "Where's that? What went on there?" Well, for nearly 2 years we fought a nasty little campaign in Borneo to stop the Indonesians taking it back from Malaysia.
Did you agree with that conflict?
Yes, in a way, because it was our job to do what we were told, and we thought it rightly belonged to Malaysia. Well, anyway, Sukarno was eventually overthrown by his own people. We stopped him from taking the Borneo territories back, and to this day it's all remains part of Malaysia, except for Brunei, which is now independent, because the Sultan of Brunei wanted all his oil for himself. and Singapore under Lee Kuan Yew, he broke away from the Malaysian Federation because the majority of people in Singapore are Chinese extraction. So Lee Kuan Yew said, "No, we don't want to be part of the Malaysian Federation," and he broke away quiet. So the Malaysian Federation now consists of the old Malaya, I think there's 13 states in Malaya, and of Sabah and Sarawak in North Borneo, and they remain part of the Federation of Malaysia to this day. So yes, they gave us a medal, another campaign medal with the clasp Borneo, to another General Service medal with a slightly different configuration. And I did about 15 months out there.
What was that like, day to day?
Yes, it was good. Bags of scrubbing. I didn't get involved in any of the fighting out there. Again, we were doing mainly support work with our communications, which meant being mostly on the top of hills and things like that to get the best communications. It was support work again, in direct aid to the infantry who were doing the majority of the work, the infantry and the artillery. There was not much scope for tanks out there, for armour, because it was then all primary jungle.
You weren't a target directly?
Sorry?
You weren't a target directly?
No.
Yeah.
Well, we would have been, yeah, we were target. We were all targets directly, so we were fully armed with live ammunition at all times, whenever we went out. You know, whenever we were even in camp, we were still fully armed at all times, because we were targets, although we didn't get involved. But we had to be on the lookout all the time. You see, our work in communications involved operating way out on a limb, very often without any infantry cover, and so we had to do our own defence and guards and what have you, you know. And we were fully armed with live ammunition at all times. So we were directly involved, but I didn't get involved in any actual, shooting of that nature.